and then I have to press, oh, we're on. So welcome to the third and final part of the Dance and Pain Science lecture.
Thank you, Wendy. Let's just recap. So how is this approach different? Really, this new diagnosis, it comes with hope. That's the main message. And then we've got 3 refreshing new approaches to pain. The first and second I've already summarized. I'm just going to look at them quickly again. There are implications here for patient belief. That's important. There's a change in understanding how pain manifests itself. So that understanding that pain is always emanating from the part of the body that is painful, we want to reassess that and see whether that's actually true. And there's a really good question for us to ask ourselves. Is it really true? Because one day the pain may be on one side of the knee and the next day it may be on the other or in the center. If it's moving around, that's giving us some indication that it may not be acute pain. So if it's not acute pain and it's chronic pain, we're going to look at what part the brain is playing. So in the second new approach, that means we're going to involve that body-mind and mind-body component. We sometimes don't see it because we're involved in dance, because we take it for granted. So if I go back to my training in body-mind centering, I take it for granted that the body systems have an impact on the brain and the brain has an impact on the body systems. That interchange of information to me is normal. But for someone outside of the dance world, that may not be the case. So we need to recognize that in some ways, as I've said before, we're half a step ahead, but that doesn't help us unless we recognize that we are. So we're moving on now to the third new approach. So the severity of pain doesn't always correlate with the severity of the condition or the potential for damage to the body. So that mismatch of information can be an indicator that this is TMS pain or psychophysiologic pain. Patients learn from this that severe pain, childbirth, kidney stones, like they're self-limiting, they go away. You have a child, you get better, right? They resolve without damage. Well, let's hope so. Sometimes having a child is a bit more complicated, but we won't go into that too much right now. Okay, so severe back pain may ultimately be benign. And the work of David Hanscom is well worth looking into if you have any back pain or anyone that you're associated with has back pain. So he's a surgeon. He doesn't practice now because he made the discovery many years ago that a lot of the surgery that he had been trained to do actually wasn't making a difference in a way that he hoped it would. So he stopped doing the number of surgeries that he might have done before, and the hospital that he worked in Seattle wasn't happy. So he's now stopped actually practicing surgery. He will acknowledge freely that there are some cases when back surgery is essential. But many times he would say it's TMS, and that if somebody followed a process along the lines of resolving chronic pain, that back pain would disappear and there would be no structural damage through surgery. And that is a huge thing for him to put his head above the parapet and to say. So I have great admiration for him, because it's not made him very popular within the conventional world of spine specialists. So another way of looking at this is that the pain sensory signals, they play a crucial part. It's about how you feel and responding to that. The adrenaline also plays a part in masking the actual pain. So we will have all heard of rugby players that continued to play through to the end of the game, even though they broke their leg. So the adrenaline can mask pain, which is an interesting perspective as well. And that's helpful when we reflect on when we felt the pain. There may have been an initial part of time where we didn't feel the pain, and that's because adrenaline had masked it. So we need to look at how the stress response can have an effect that isn't just stopping the healing hormones coming in, it can also give us that energy to keep going because the focus is on finishing the game or whatever it might be. So one of the things that we end up recognizing, and if we go back to attributes of people who experience TMS and chronic pain over a long period of time, the unconscious mind is fearful about something. And actually, when the logical conscious mind gets involved, it can quell that fear. And that to me is the huge pity that we don't know that this information is not out there in the public domain as much as I would want it to be, because that's such a simple solution, a recognition that that fear is actually unfounded, that it's triggering the unconscious mind. What can also happen is the patient can just seep into hopelessness because the pain has just gone on for too long. Hope begins to reduce the pain really quickly. So the hope comes with this new diagnosis. And what brings us hope? Love, a sense of belonging, community, connection. They can all have a healing effect and constitute hope. So those are the three approaches that are the new approaches to pain. So how do we recognize those emotional triggers to pain and other symptoms? Mind-body pain keeps coming back until you're firm in your conviction that there is no physical cause. And that means that in the present day, within certain cultures, that's very difficult because you're going up against conventional, in inverted commas, wisdom. So that may delay the impact because there's a little bit of doubt that keeps coming in at the back of the mind. But once you have come to the conclusion that there is no physical cause, then recovery is usually quite rapid. So I've emphasized a lot during this lecture that body-mind and mind-body is a unique perspective of dancers, and I want us to embrace it. So that role of doubt that I just referred to is like the worm in the background. So I just want to bring it up again, all right? So once a clear diagnosis of benign chronic pain has been given, our role is to eliminate the doubt. So then once you've eliminated the doubt, the unconscious mind will probably give it one last shot. You've got to admire it. And that way it will go for symptom migration. So it'll move somewhere else. And that demonstrates that the pain is TMS. And actually it does the opposite of what the unconscious mind was wanting to do, which was to actually say again, there's something wrong. It convinces us, our conscious mind, yeah, that's TMS pain because it's moving and it's not logical. So helping the patient to overcome doubt through reasons and emotional support, that's my job. So what we now know, pain does not always mean damage. Exercise is good, even if you're sore afterwards. Dance, just dance for joy. Patients who improve often have ups and downs along the way, and that's perfectly normal. Broken bones heal, chronic pain can heal too. Your brain keeps changing as you learn and grow. You can get rid of the pain pathways. Patients who play an active role are more likely to get better. So that, what I mean by that is if we regard, and this is particularly pertinent today because there are car issues going on, we won't discuss it in any detail, but if we regard our body as we would a car and it gets damaged and we have the thought that we need to take it to the garage to get fixed, then that's similar to taking the body to the doctor and handing all responsibility over to the person who is going to fix it. So rather than the mechanic for the car, you're handing it over to the doctor. That is how we used to look at pain. And the whole point of this lecture is to change that concept. Perhaps we can be empowered to make a difference, so we can work with the doctor. We might still go to the doctor, listen to what they have to say, accept whatever intervention they've offered if we consider that to be a good route to take, but also attend to our autonomic nervous system so that we allow healing hormones to come in, so we meet that intervention halfway so that it's doubly effective, rather than us waiting for someone else to fix it and us not taking any responsibility for it. So how do you find out more? You can go to my website, which is resolvingchronicpain.com. You can sign up for the blog. I would love you to do that. It's free. It comes every second Wednesday morning. And if you sign up for that, you become part of the community of people who are interested in this approach. So I would want to encourage you to do that if you would like to. And then you can also download the textbook, and you can see that on the screen now. And you simply go on to Amazon and you can order it from there. You can also order an interview on the website if you want to know a little bit more. Thank you very much. So I'd like to thank all of my students, both past and present. I would like to thank Bonnie Bainbridge-Cohen, who I adore, of Body Mind Centering, Lisa Rankin, who I work very closely with, from Whole Health Medicine, David Scheckner, who helped me enormously along my journey of learning about body mind medicine, and Wendy. Thank you very much. I'd also like to acknowledge Mary Higgins, who has been brilliant, Siobhan Omani, who has also been outstanding, Sinead Defour, who is helping now as we go into a second raft of research, and David Clark, who is just beyond brilliant, and Howard Schubiner. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, thank you very much, Mags, for sharing all of that information with us. I think we're all going to go back and listen to these sections of the lecture more than once. And what, as you said, what we would like students to do is write down your questions as you're listening to each section, and there will be a question and answer live synchronous session with Mags. The date will be given to you to bring your questions along or your ideas, and we will have an open discussion. So thank you again, Mags, for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you in the question and answer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.